Yes,
Hi everyone. I'm going to do what I do with my classes, which is ask everyone to step forward a little bit, please. Thank you. That's fantastic. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be here with so many friends and supporters of the law school. I feel like fate is smiling on us with the weather, of course, and with the building project more generally. As many of you know, this project has been around for a long time. I think it was 1999 when the building was first identified as an important priority of the faculty. And we've had, it's fair to say, a few ups and downs since then. And when I became dean, you know, the students are amazing. We actually have lots of students here today, which is wonderful. The faculty are fantastic. The staff is great, but the building facilities just got worse and worse. And external review after external review would talk about how bad the state of the law school's physical facilities were. So I cannot tell you how thrilled I am. And I was told I'm not allowed to drive that Bobcat. Unfortunately, I wanted to. But we will have shovels and to break ground on this wonderful new building, which really is going to inaugurate a whole new era in the history of Canada's most wonderful law school, and actually one of the great, I think, leadership institutions in the world. This would never have happened without the support of so many people who believed when no one else believed that it was possible. And we'll hear from a number of those people today. We're very excited to have so many of them with us. And what I would like to do before I start to introduce some of our luminaries is just to say a couple of words about a few people that will not be up on the platform today, who deserve, I think, some special credit. So first of all, let me mention, and I think he is here somewhere, former Dean Ron Daniels. Is Ron here? There he is. Ron, can you believe it? No. Ron, as you probably know, is now president of Johns Hopkins, and I can tell you for sure that I never would have had the nerve to even think about doing anything like fundraising for a new law school building if Ron hadn't supported me and done so much along the way to make this happen. So I'm thrilled you could be with us today. Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. So Ron, I wanted to mention, secondly, no one manages to do something like raise this amount of money without a whole lot of other people really making it happen. The dean gets the credit, also of course the blame, which is right. But I did want to share a little bit of the credit with a couple of other people that have made this possible in so many ways. And I see Vice President Palmer, Head of Advancement here, who's done a wonderful job for us. And hiding in the back, as usual, my incredible assistant, Judith Lavin, who was, see, look, there she is, way at the back. Judith got appointments that I never ever thought anyone could get. So she could always manage to connect with people, etc. And last but most, Kate Hilton, who is my Assistant Dean of Development and has just been amazing. I think it's fair to say Kate and I shared a lot of dark days, and it is just fantastic to be here for a gloriously sunny day with all of you. So now it is my great pleasure to introduce the President of the University of Toronto, David Naylor. I also want to mention, because people are coming up to the podium, what I think made a huge difference in the fact that this building happened was that the university supported this project, supported it with the wonderful Scott Maybury and his team, and supported it with financial support from the university, which I really think gave all of our donors and supporters confidence that it was going to happen. So I'd always be happy to introduce David, but I'm especially happy now.
Thank you very much, Mayo. What is it lawyers say? I'm not quite functus officio or something like that. A few months to go, and what a lovely chance to celebrate with all of you in these waning months. Mayo alluded to the extraordinary faculty, staff, students, alumni of the school, all these things that were on an upward trajectory, and the need for new building. He did not, of course, with characteristic humility, mention the fact that we also have had a remarkable dean. Thank you, Mayo, for your leadership. And speaking of remarkable deans, I want to, like Mayo, acknowledge a colleague and friend who is absolutely fantastic as a university leader. I've had the privilege of sitting at the AAU table with Ron Daniels. Ron has been so supportive of his alma mater, not only here at the law school, but also in architecture and myriad other ways. Ron, thank you for all you've done for your alma mater. Now, if I start going through the list of luminaries, another remarkable past dean, Marty Friedland, the Honorable Frank Iacobucci was slated to be here. I don't know if the magical Frank is here or not. There's the magical Yak. I don't know if the Honorable Mr. Justice Sharp is here. I certainly saw other justices, just a luminary group, as always. I want to thank the Faculty of Law campaign cabinet members, all the Alumni Association council members, countless donors, and of course the faculty, staff, and students. And I have to say that, and here I need to be careful, this was the MD graduation day, and I am an MD graduate. But while there are many ways to judge the greatness of a university, I don't know of any great university that doesn't either have or wish it had a great law school. And and we are so fortunate in that we have one. And it has been a fabulous school for a very long time. And I think Canada, the broader university community, the world is better for the extraordinary leadership that graduates of this school have exerted and for the great ideas that its professoriate have generated. The distinguished jurists and legal professionals here today attest to its legacy of leadership and its impact, and it is certainly an honor for me to serve as president of an institution that has a faculty of law of this caliber. Now, I can't possibly mention all of these individuals who've gone on to do great things after receiving a degree here, but I do have to mention one in particular. Former Lieutenant Governor of Ontario and Chancellor Emeritus of the University of Toronto, the Honorable Henry N.R. Jackman, a towering figure who has joined us today. Al Jackman has demonstrated outstanding generosity as a philanthropist in higher education. His passion for the university spans many of our faculties and colleges. He's got long-term vision and extraordinary integrity, and this groundbreaking represents not simply the start of the construction of a new building, but represents in many ways and embodies Hal's loyalty to his alma mater in this school and his commitment to a better Canada and a better world. And as Mayo said, this is absolutely overdue. 2 external reviews have confirmed that adequate infrastructure is absolutely essential for this faculty to continue to compete in the very highest echelons of law schools on the world stage. And Hal, your generosity has helped the faculty to fulfill its aspirations and consolidate its status as a destination of choice for the very best Canadian and international law school applicants. The impact of this building will be known to many, but it is wide. And it is also not a matter of convenience that this building will reflect the highest contemporary standards of accessibility, because the Faculty of Law, too, is widely open and accessible to all from all walks of life. Now, more will be said about Hal Jackman's leadership as a community builder and visionary, but as president, I simply want to thank each and every one of you. So many of you have supported this school and this project, and I am grateful to all the benefactors, the individuals and the great law firms who have stepped forward and made this day possible. Your generosity will have an immediate and lasting impact, sustaining the quality of research and teaching at our Faculty of Law and helping it reach new heights. So for all of that, for your support, I'm most grateful, and may owe to you and all of your colleagues and your staff and students warmest congratulations on another great milestone. All the best.
Thank you so much, David. And so next I just wanted to say a couple of words about the wonderful members of our campaign cabinet. One of the things that makes a campaign successful is having a fantastic cabinet. And we had unprecedented support from law firms, as you know, much higher support than we'd ever had before, from Torys, from Oslers, from Blakes, from Davies, from many other places. And that really was due to the incredible leadership of our campaign cabinet. Many of those individuals are here today. I'm not going to name every single one, but I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. And I did, of course, want to call up our campaign cabinet co-chair. But before I do that, I wanted to mention that we are missing today Clay Horner, who is the co-chair of our cabinet and did a fantastic job for us. I really am thinking about Clay a lot today because Clay signed up for and supported me and Kate when really very, very few other people were willing to do so. And he, I know, is with us in spirit, but I just wanted to say a special word for him. And he, of course, is joined as co-chair by Tom Raleigh, the class of 1969, married to someone from the class of 75, who also had a very key role in the campaign, and the father of a graduate from the University of Toronto Law School. We like to keep it in the family. Tom has done a fantastic job, spent many hours strategizing, talking to people, just incredible volunteer support. Tom, we couldn't have done it without you. Would you please come and say a few words?
One of the great things about being a co-chair of a campaign is you can pretend to have done something, but so many people get involved when it starts to roll that you're really almost left by the roadside once people get their teeth into it. I would like to join Mayo in her remarks about Clay. Many of you will know that shortly after the campaign began, Clay suffered a severe ski accident, which has adversely impacted his mobility and really changed the path of his life. And all of us are thinking about him today, and indeed from time to time throughout the campaign, and I'm sorry he's not here with me. The campaign is now not complete, but it is more than far enough along for this groundbreaking. We have done quite well, and it's really the generosity of our graduates that has come through. There's been a lot of personal or individual giving, some of it really to be described as more than generous, and many others have motivated their law firms and given themselves. And our law school campaign, as Mayo said, has been very good as well. So we aren't quite at a stop, but I think we're at a very good point to recognize how well we've done. And when I say we, I really mean all of the people who've been involved. And I think this generosity reflects something else that comes through a bit in the earlier remarks, and that is that many people think they owe a lot to the school, and I think the giving represents the strength of feeling people have for the school and its continuing relevance, not just relevance when I went in the 60s, which seems like forever ago even to me, but continuing relevance today as a strong institution worthy of support. And I think the whole thing is a tribute to the original teachers, those from the 50s and 60s who set the school in motion, and to their successors like Mayo today, who have done a wonderful job of bringing it into the modern era. And in some respects, I view this building as a break. The old school was 2 buildings, and it was never nice. And it got worse. In Ron Daniels' time, I visited him. I fell on the stairs because it turned out there was a hole in the carpet bigger than a hockey puck. And I was directed to a men's room down the hall. I had to navigate a big bushy batch of telephone wires that extruded themselves into the hall. And I couldn't get into the washroom because I had to push hard on the door, and I couldn't understand why. But when the door finally was open, there was one of those big round maintenance tubs with wheels on it and a couple of mops sticking out of it and some very non-potable water. And I went back to Ron's office and I said, "You have to do something about this." Now, as everybody knows, it was a long time ago, but today's a momentous occasion, and it's just as welcome for all of that history. I would like to also give credit to Mayo and to Kate. We've already heard about it a little bit, but they are a formidable pair. And after having done 2 of these campaigns, one for Trinity and one here, I think the leadership of the organization itself is, in many respects, the most important ingredient. And if there are any people present who haven't been tackled by them, you should watch out. They're formidable, and no wallet is safe. I'd also like to recognize, as has been done, the support from the university. I talked to David Naylor before I signed on. The campaign had sort of warmed up and then died away in the financial difficulties, and I wondered where the university stood. And David made me feel quite solid on that point. And Simcoe Hall and the Governing Council have been very generous. They are making a financial contribution. It feels good to think that the university supports this faculty that I love so much. And lastly, I'd like to thank Hal Jackman for his leading gift. I've heard frequent complaints from Hal about pettifogging and narrow-minded profession and blah, blah, blah. But in fact, he has long been a supporter of the Faculty of Law. It's been great. He's been a supporter of the university, and of course, you know, in the broader world, he's done many good things as well. And I just want to say that personally, and I'm sure we'll all agree, that it's been a source of great satisfaction to me to think that soon I'll walk through the door of a building with his name on it. So thank you.
So this building will do many wonderful things, but I don't think it will transform anything more than it will transform the student experience. We have simply amazing students here. They get better every year. In fact, all of us wonder whether we'd get into law school now. We're pretty sure we wouldn't. And the students are just so smart, so animated, so interesting. And as dean, in many ways, my proudest accomplishment is to be able to provide the wonderful law students of the future with great facilities, which they lack now, I know. And so today, what I thought would be nice would be to have a few words from the president of our Student Law Society, a great student, Brendan Stevens. So come on up, Brendan.
Thank you so much, Dean Moran. It is such an honor to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion in the history of our great law school. Now, there are many different things that go into our U of T law community. We have our inspiring professors, our passionate administration, our dedicated members of staff, the outstanding leaders of our co-curricular programs, our highly accomplished alumni network, and my exemplary student colleagues who never cease to amaze me with their talent and their incredible past experiences. But one important aspect of community that is often overlooked is the actual physical space that the community occupies. It seems to me that physical surroundings can have a drastic effect on the way in which people interact, where people choose to spend their time, and the pride that people feel in being a member of a community. So it's this positive impact that this new building is going to have on the vitality of our community That is why students are so excited about this project. But that is not the only reason. I know many students are also excited, in part because there are certainly aspects of our current space that we are excited to leave behind. For example, the double faucet sinks in the basement washrooms, which only possess 2 temperatures, screaming hot and paralyzing cold, both of which hurt a little bit in their own unique way. There's also the ants in the kitchen, which always add a little sense of humor to our lunch hours. And we probably also won't miss the fluctuating air temperatures, which make deciding what to wear to class a little bit more complex than one of Dean Moran's exam fact patterns. But there are parts of our current space with a high degree of history and beauty that the students definitely appreciate. And so I think we're all very happy that these parts of the building will persist and will be complemented by a new modern facility. And although this is an extremely exciting moment for U of T Law, the next 2 years of transition will certainly bring many challenges for us. In particular, maintaining the strong sense of community that we currently possess, even when we're all slightly more dispersed at Victoria College, is going to require our best efforts. But I believe this challenge is going to inspire us to implement new and creative ways to foster a sense of community, a task that the Students' Law Society and the administration have already been working very hard on. Further, I believe this period of transition will afford all of us the opportunity to step back and reflect on where we've been and where we're going next. On behalf of the students, I would like to thank all of the donors for their incredible generosity during this campaign. We are so grateful for your generosity and your unwavering commitment to our school. We'd also like to thank the staff and the administration for working so tirelessly to secure a great temporary home for current students at Victoria College, and for trying their best to ensure that our law school experience isn't compromised by this transition. My classmates and I look forward to the construction project unfolding and to one day soon setting foot in our new home, a space that will symbolize the intersection between our great history and our exciting future. Thank you for your time and enjoy the day.
I told you they were wonderful. I should also add, I see there's a lot of the Students' Law Society members here. Some of the community building ideas have made me slightly uneasy since they involve me doing karaoke with Brendan, I think, as the finale. Yes, Ben is nodding. Anyway, that's so wonderful. And one of the other things that I did want to mention in terms of how beautiful the building will be, a long time ago I said that spaces can make the spirit suffer or make the spirit soar. And we are very lucky to have a wonderful design that I feel confident will make the spirit soar. And that's thanks to our wonderful architect. I see C-Mac Hariri here. He's hiding in the back in really cool sunglasses. Did a wonderful job on the design and is working with B&H Architects. Lots of the architects are here today, and thank you for all the amazing work that you've done. It's going to be beautiful. It will set the standard environmentally, and it'll really be a fantastic space. Now, of course, that doesn't happen, again, without the support of the university, and I'm very pleased to introduce, on behalf of the university and Governing Council, the Vice Chair of Governing Council, Judy Goldring.
Well, thank you, Mayo, or Dean Moran, as officially called. You know, I was with Mayo when she had gotten word of this lead donation pretty early on, and the enthusiasm and excitement she had is truly infectious, and you can obviously see why, hearing all the stories today. So on behalf of Governing Council, I'm here to share our enthusiasm and congratulations to you for this wonderful project. We're also here, of course, to give thanks and say thanks to those who made this possible. And again, I echo everyone's comments to the Honourable Jackman, of course. Thank you very much for your continued leadership and dedication and ongoing generosity to this wonderful university. As those of you who attended U of T Faculty of Law will know, it first started in 20 years after Confederation. And at that time, there were only a few lucky students who came through those doors. But today, I think I heard earlier this afternoon, 600 students are here on the premises in these facilities every year. And that is an enormous achievement. And while this is a little hard for me to say as a graduate of Queen's Law, the U of T Law faculty and the law students are true, far and apart, the best of breed and among the best and the brightest in the world. Yes, of course, you should give yourself a hand. I won't tell my former fellow graduates at Queen's Law that. But in any event, you know, the students here, they come because of the diversity of both this faculty, this wonderful university, and as well, of course, living within this city that is so multicultural as well. And the training and perspective that they gain at this outstanding law school set them on a course to just do that and continue to do that in their careers. The campaign for this law school and this facility really continue the university's goals to continue our excellence in research, teaching, and learning. And it certainly is, as you mentioned, the physical space that matters so significantly for a student experience. And I certainly commend the students for your leadership as well in making this a priority project and giving back to the university to have this happen. I do believe that this facility will help this university and continue its efforts to be the choice destination for legal students coming forward, and certainly for the faculty. I'm sure you're looking for new space as well to continue your wonderful work in teaching the generation of the future, our future lawyers, our scholars, our judges, and policymakers. So with that, let me assure you that Governing Council is thrilled to be part of this. We are sharing the pride that you have today, and we are excited to see this project come to life. So once again, congratulations. Now I also have the great pleasure of initiating the groundbreaking. So if I could ask all the platform speakers to please come, grab a shovel, and start digging.
Ceremonial shovel. Over here. Right here. They made it easy for us.
It's all worked out. I see we do this.
Can I talk to Mayowa? Sure. You just have to try to grab it. Oh, really? I thought we were done.
Right foot forward. Anyway, pickle stabbers not in place.
I would.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Now I have to go across the dance square. So now, I am going to ask up to the platform someone of whom you have heard mention, and that is someone, of course, without whom this building never would have happened, the Honorable Henry N. Hal Jackman. And I have had a wonderful time as Dean getting to know Hal, arguing with Hal over many, many different subjects. Hal reads the latest book before most of us do. He reads cases, way more cases probably than some of us read these days, and is just generally incredibly engaged intellectually with the law. And as we know, Hal has been an enormously generous donor to the university and to many, many other institutions around the city and the province. But I think this building actually, and Hal's generosity to the Faculty of Law, represented even a different kind of generosity, not only because of its magnitude, but also because, as you've heard, Hal doesn't exactly like lawyers. He's a little ambivalent about lawyers, and so I think that his incredible gift probably should be kind of double or triple counted, because he was working against his own concerns about the legal profession. But seriously, Hal and Hella's wonderful, insightful thoughts about the legal profession. This building happened because of the generosity of many, but it would never have happened without the astounding generosity of Hal Jackman. And he's really made an incredible difference. And I know I share, as all of us do, what Tom Raleigh said. There's no better name to have on the building than Hal's. He exemplifies everything that we're proud of. And thank you so much, Mr. Jackman. Come on up.
Well, thank you very much, Dean. Your words are too generous. I certainly don't have anything against lawyers. The only thing that I could say is that I graduated I was not necessarily a gold medal. I was what Dean Wright would call, I was in the middle third. At any rate, but I did not become a dean or a professor or a judge, but I became something far more important to everybody here. I became a client. Because without clients, none of you would be here. But I am serious when I say that my best educational experience in my life was certainly the 3 years I spent at the U of T Law School and was down on St. George Street. And I will never forget it, and I have no hesitation at all in supporting this, because first of all, I think law, of course, is hugely important. How it evolves is terribly important, and with the brain power and with the people you are graduating and continuing to graduate here, I have no hesitation to think that what people who have given to this are making a very meaningful contribution. Since when I first went to the university, this law school has moved to 4 different locations, twice on St. George Street, then Glendon Hall, and then next door here. And all of those were fine old buildings, but they were not suited for for a modern law school. And so we are doing what we are doing. Dean, I echo what others have said and congratulate you and your team in putting this all together. I'm glad that some of our former deans are here, Marty Friedland and Frank Iacobucci, and particularly Ron Daniels, because Ron, I think, no disrespect, Ron, I think it was you who first wrote the subject of a new building for the law school, because this building is not a new idea. As soon as the Alaskan wing behind us was built, the rumbling started in the law school that this was not enough. We had to get something more. Well, it's taken us 40 years or so, but now we have done it. I am particularly delighted that this building will be facing Queen's Park. Queen's Park, as you know, was opened by the Prince of Wales a little over 100 years ago in memory of his mother, the Queen. And the Queen, or the Crown, is the source of the rule of law, and is the source of our rights and our freedoms, in case some of you didn't know that. And then and what is particularly interesting is that the south end of this park is anchored by the legislative buildings, where free men and women meet and congregate and pass those laws which the people up here will try to explain to them what they really meant to say. So anyway, I am delighted to be here. You've been standing a lot. You've been very patient, but I feel honored to be involved with this. Dr. Naylor, I think this is such a huge, wonderful university, and I support it, and as you mentioned, in many ways. and I hope to continue to do so, provided it's not all stopped up in legal fees. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Hal. You can see what I mean about very engaged in the law. And as Hal mentioned, it's wonderful. We are located here between Queen's Park and Philosopher's Walk. I couldn't imagine a better place to be. And so I am now going to introduce the new Chancellor of the University of Toronto, the Honorable Michael Wilson. Please come up, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just wonder, how long do I have to be Chancellor before I'm no longer the new Chancellor? Is it my first birthday? Is that, then I'm okay then. I am delighted to have this opportunity and be here to enjoy the excitement, the enthusiastic, the good humor, but also the passionately felt desire that we have this new building. And hearing from this range of speakers who have such a long association with the Faculty of Law, it is truly a great pleasure for me to be here and be a part of this. I think it's a wonderful sign of the momentum that we have in our efforts to build up this great institution of legal scholarship and education, and to advance the mission of the University of Toronto Law School in doing what it does best. And I have used the word triathletes a number of times in my comments as Chancellor, and I think of lawyers as being, in spite of Hal, what you might say, I think of lawyers as people who have in many ways been triathletes. My interpretation of triathletes was given to me by another dean, Dean Joseph Nye at the Harvard School, and he calls a triathlete people who have been leaders in business or in the private sector, in the public sector, and in the not-for-profit sector. And so many members of this profession have done just that, to provide that leadership in so many ways across important things in our community. But for generations, the Faculty of Law here, with its tradition of integrating theory with practice, has been a major training ground for leaders such as I've described. And Hal Jackman is certainly one especially brilliant example of that. So as President Naylor has said, the University of Toronto Law School has a crucial role to play in the education that it takes place at this great university, and its success is so important to the success of our society, the success of our country, but also the impact that many of the graduates of this law school have had around the world. It's the excellence, as people have said, of the faculty, the staff, the students, and the alumni, many alumni represented here today, is reflected in the consistently high rankings that the University of Toronto has among the great universities around the world. Now, we've reached this ceremony today because of the vision of many people who are with us here today, and I won't repeat all of what you have heard, but I will point out that the twin pillars of the Boundless campaign are preparing global citizens and meeting global challenges, and that is precisely the great contribution that the Faculty of Law can make and continues to make in many ways with the work that is done here. And now my brain has come back and I can I did mention the expression triathlete, And I do want to close by saying that in Hal Jackman we have one of the best examples we can have of a triathlete. Hal has had a wonderful career in business, a very innovative man, a very entrepreneurial man who has done great things in the business community. He was our Lieutenant Governor, Chancellor of the University of Toronto, so he's given back so much in public life. And as we've heard today, the contributions not just of his own financial resources, but of the great contribution that he has personally made to the not-for-profit community, whether it's in education, as we've seen here, or in the cultural world, which is where he has also made a great contribution. So Hal, it's a real pleasure for me to be here, to be a part of this ceremony which launches this great building in your name, but also pays such tribute to you and the catalytic role that you have played in making it all happen today. Thank you all very much for being here. Do I get the last word? The Chancellor, well, Helga always had the last word in anything that he did, but thank you all very much on behalf of the University of Toronto for all that you have done, everybody who is here in the various ways that you have contributed to what will go up behind us here, but also to the University of Toronto in the broadest sense. Thank you all for being here.
I'm a Dean of Law. I can't quite let anyone else have the last word. What I wanted to do was to invite everyone to join us at the reception in the Rowell Room. Again, another Jackman connection. And to really thank all of you. Some groundbreakings are rather ill-attended affairs. This is not, and I think that really says a lot about the faculty and the feeling of the faculty. I see a lot of professors here. Our 3 university professors are here today, I think, as well as our university professor emeritus, many faculty, many students, staff, and many, many alumni. So I wanted to thank you for the incredible generosity, for the support for the faculty, and to invite you to come in and celebrate with us this great occasion. Thank you.